What happened with the PFTs?
Recent insult. Looks like another process likely preceded it. We're thinking pneumonia.
Yeah, definitely pneumonia. And we just got her labs, her white count's up to 19. How's her fever?
The last one was 101.8. Cough's getting worse, more productive, chills, sweating, headaches.
Start broad spectrum antibiotics, chest physical therapy, Lasix to diurese some of this fluid from the corticosteroids.
Well, I'm assuming they're no longer trying to move her.
Well, this definitely helps our case to keep her.
Oh, fans are loving Scott Wolf as Dr. Miller in the new Fox medical drama. Doc?
Scott is joining us now. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, doctor!
Hey, you're spewing out that medical jargon, pal.
Yeah,
like nothing right there.
Fluids. Diurese.
I don't want any diurese fluid.
For those who may not be familiar with the show, obviously it's a medical setting, but what else is going on?
Well, yeah, it's a medical show, true to form. There have been hospital shows on since the history of dawn of television. I think they're really engaging because it's going to touch all of our lives at some point or another, for better or for worse. But this one has found a way to tell a hospital story in a way that's never been told before. Based on a true story, Central doctor gets in a terrible car accident, loses almost a decade of her life, 8 years. Can't remember. So it causes this reset for everybody in this environment.
Oh, wow.
So she's kind of starting from, she's lost track of everything that's happened over the last 8 years, and some serious, significant life changes have happened to her.
Does she still practice being a doctor?
Yes, so at first...
did she retain all that medical...
So from 8 years ago past, she's got it all. The last 8 years, she's without.
Oh, wow.
But she makes an argument that she's capable of coming back at that stage.
Okay.
So the hospital lets her back in. Everybody has their own relationship with her. Some people are really rooting for her to regain her full self. She and I, what we come to find out, have a whole past with each other that's quite different from how we meet them.
Ah.
When we meet them, there's a whole lot of tension between them. In the first episode, she makes a terrible accusation that he's made some kind of choice that cost a patient their life. I deny it, but as we move forward, it remains to be seen whether she was right, whether I have made some terrible mistake.
Does she remember making this accusation?
She does not.
So then you could just say, hey, I operated in room 3.
So
there's a lot that you could say in those 8 years. You weren't there, but
I wasn't. It wasn't even me.
This is correct. So it remains to be seen. And look, what's really fun is I play a guy who it's hard to tell whether he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Ah.
You know, he's an incredibly capable doctor. He seems like a decent human being, although he seems like he's carrying a big secret and trying to protect it.
Do you know which way it's going at this point in the script or no?
I do.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh,
How much money you got on you, Kate?
Little tease, that's a good tease.
I'm going to go that you're a good guy.
Well, you've got like a good medical face or something, because this has been like your 4th time playing a doctor.
Yeah, I play a lot of doctors.
What is that, Scott?
I don't know.
You've got a good medical face.
It's not like I have some kind of contract thing where I'm like, I'm only playing doctors. But I've played 4 now. Yeah, there's what, the other 3.
What?
It was Everwood. It was a short-lived show called The 9. And then The Night Shift. On
different
NBC.
types of doctors? Or
all
like
different fields of medicine, which has been great.
Fields. That's a good
So-
show.
What's your favorite?
You know, this one. It's internal medicine on this show.
Okay.
So similar a la House, you know, it's medical mysteries. It's people who have potentially come through the medical system. Nobody's been able to solve their mysteries, save their lives.
Right.
They come into this incredible environment of expert doctors. But what's amazing is, and look, I've been part of a lot of shows that I've really loved and been proud of. I've never been more proud to be part of something than this.
It's good.
It's so good, and I think, you know, you come for the hospital show, but you stay for these characters, for the complications in their relationships, for the mysteries, for the love triangles. So we're standing around beds full of sick people, saving lives and practicing incredible medicine, but all of the relationships, I think it's really catching people off guard in the best way. And I'm really, really
Y'all
proud
check
of
it.
that.
There's a lot of medical shows. This one is one to watch. What about, let's go way back.
Yeah.
Party of 5,
Yeah.
the Salingers. Those were my people. Could we ever come back and find out where they are now? Has that ever even been in the works?
I would love it. I've made it public that I'm here for the reboot. I mean, to find out what's going on with that family.
Bailey?
Where's Bailey? I think he's doing great, but
probably a doctor.
He's probably a doctor somewhere. But I did kind of corral the cast a couple of years ago. Everybody, look, amazing, talented group of people. Everybody's busy. But I was like, hey, what about this? And everybody was in. Everybody was kind of sort of facing each other.
Yeah.
And it never quite got over the hump. But
I'm not sleeping on that one then.
Don't. You've been one of our producers.
Exactly. Get on in there.
But yeah, there's not a ton of shows that I've done that I would want to go back and revisit or I care too much about.
Right.
But I really would be curious about what's going on with that family.
Yeah.
Let's go. Speaking of which, I know you and your family are still living out in Utah.
We are.
Yeah, and you're still liking that?
Yeah, the mountains, man. I mean, it took a kid from New Jersey and plunked me in the Mountain West, and somehow I'm thriving. Then, yeah, I mean, look, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
That's
I got
great.
three beautiful kids, 15, 12, and 10.
Oh,
They're a
okay.
tough crowd these days.
Yeah,
you know?
they are.
They're like, I'm like, guys, what about the new show? And they're like, why aren't you in Marvel movies?
Yeah.
And watch the show.
Never cool enough.
Yeah.
You're never cool enough. for your kid.
Do they ever come to you with medical stuff? Because you could be like, that is a hematoma.
It's the
I just made that
opposite.
up.
It's the opposite. I try and I don't try, but I have this. I played a doctor 4 times. I'm like 3/4 of a doctor.
Basically, yeah.
I get these impulses when something's going on, and like there was a sickness that ripped through our house recently, and I'm like, you know, going through symptoms, and I'm like trying to diagnose stuff.
And your wife Kelley's like,
That's right.
no.
Not having it.
Not
And
having
my
it.
daughter is like has the least patience for that. She's like,
Podcast?
"You're not a real doctor."
And you all doing a podcast together?
Yeah, Kelley and I have a podcast coming out. It's I'm proud of the title. It is Raised by Wolves.
Oh, because she's Kelley
There
Wolf.
you go. There
That's
you go.
good.
What do you
Wait, what camera
what
are
do
we
you talk about on Raised by Wolves?
You know what? I'm saying it's the conversation you need that you didn't realize how bad you needed it.
With who?
Kelley is alive we're having it with each other. We're going to have experts on the show.
Got it.
It's going to be topical. It's talking about stuff that's going on in our culture and our society.
Okay.
Things we're all dealing with. Everybody talks about the structural elements of things. Kelley is a trained psychotherapist and a life coach, and I've studied human behavior my whole life.
And you're a doctor.
And I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
Yes.
And so we're really going to have conversations about the human nature, about what's driving all these things that we're seeing. What's the emotion behind it? Why are these choices getting made? How's it affecting us? Because we're all talking about the stuff and the structure of, you know, it's elections, it's stuff going on with our families and our kids and our schools, and but to have a conversation that's really from the heart about what does it mean to have just lived through that collectively. And those are conversations Kelley and I have had since we met.
And now you're having them out loud.
And now we're going to have them out loud, Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
I like that.
Great title.
Okay, wait,
man.
quick game. Do we have time before you go?
Let's do it.
You're going to read something. We're going to go around and we're going to guess what it is.
Yeah, so those are
medical term.
scientific names
Okay.
to common illnesses, all right? So go ahead and read it, and we'll give it a shot.
The first one is, good Lord, I thought I'd at least be able to pronounce them. The first one is onychocryptosis.
Oh, that's when your toe curls up and you have the toe cramp and you can't get rid of it.
Onychocryptosis.
That happens after you hurt your lower back.
Yeah.
And then it starts to spasm, and you got to get the onychocryptosis.
Oh, so it's a procedure.
Yes,
It's a procedure.
Okay, so the onychocryptosis is an ingrown toenail.
Oh, I got it!
You were sort of like adjacent.
I was
you were
in there.
adjacent.
Okay.
By the way, those hurt.
Those are no joke. Synchronous diaphragmatic flutter.
Oh, your diaphragm.
Where's your diaphragm?
That's when your diaphragm swells up.
What you reaching up here for?
Because the diaphragm, it's all right here.
Okay,
but it affects you right here. It's like a karate man,
And
like in the inside.
It,
so then
it
comes
gets you
out
on the
right
inside.
Here.
Right here.
That
This is the
diaphragm.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bad
that's
of the
it.
diaphragm.
It's the hiccups.
Hey, see? It affects you right here. One more.
One more. Okay, these are really fun.
Raised by Wolves. Let's go.
Season 2 of Doc. Okay. Hyperhidrosis.
Oh, you cannot sit still.
No,
you are jacked up and you are just on the move.
Your breath is so stanky that it's hyper. It's like aggressive.
Oh, I don't want that.
Hyperhidrosis.
That's what hyperhidrosis.
Bad.
It's excessive sweating.
Oh, see? It's because you're stinky. So you start to sweat right there.
So close.
By the way, you are a great smelling actor. We have a lot of other people on. Doc airs Tuesday nights at 9 on Fox.
Up next, the ultimate human. Jerry Brecka's here with 3 simple ways anybody can improve their health.